I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for every one who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe. I believe. I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe. And that's why I'm here. So, without further ado, thank you, Lieutenant Greg Crow and Crew 52. I'd like to invite a true friend of Blessing of the Waves, and that's Duke and his daughter Sky. Duke.
Someone already knows what's coming, right? Do I even have to say it? But that's not good enough. This is Huntington Beach. Let me hear you. Aloha! There you go. Good morning. Some of you had your coffee. The blowing of a poo is a call to the divine. This is not only for celebrating the passing of our loved one. It's for celebrating special events such as this. And a blessing of the waves is, there's no better celebration than that, because that's what brings us life. See, he's into it too.
Aunani kamakuamau Keke kime kawane no Keakuamau Oh my kaipu Kokeau Kokeau Amen.
The spirit of Fig was with us. We couldn't do this without friends and sponsors. And I want to thank Pete Shavers, Huntington Beach Chrysler Dodge Ram, for their financial support, and the Huntington Beach Auto Dealers Association, and the producers of the air show and the concert for putting that sign up on the pier, and for all their help. How many people have been to an air show? Good. How many people are going to the air show? How many people are going to the concert Friday night? Sammy Hagar. Okay, like any organization, we have a structure and a president, and for 2021, our president of the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council is Manik Bujwala, and he's a member of the Zoroastrian community in Huntington Beach.
Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Aloha. I welcome you on behalf of the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council, people of all faiths, all religions, all ethnicities that populate our fine city over here and nearby. And we are going to celebrate the honor for the great creation of God, that is the waters, you know. And we enjoy, without the water we cannot live. we enjoy drinking it, we enjoy bathing in it, and our swimmers and surfers enjoy swimming in the waves. So we have to remember to keep it pure and clean. Now, this particular weekend is also a rather solemn weekend where we remember the over 3,000 innocent people who lost their lives at the World Trade Center on 9/11, and also very recently 13 brave soldiers who died in Afghanistan while they were trying to protect civilians, by the cowardly actions of terrorist organizations. And so I would like to remember all the other servicemen, the first responders who so heroically went forward in the face of danger, and many of them sacrificed their lives, So I would like to request all of you to please rise and have a moment of silence in memory of all those great heroes and people who lost their lives. Thank you. You may take your seat, please. And now I'm going to hand over charge to our organizer and former Mayor Dave Garofalo.
Thank you. Several years ago, the City Council allowed the Interfaith Council to put a permanent plaque on Tower Zero, memorializing the incredible effort and community leadership supplied by Father Christian Mondor and Pastor Sumo Soto. And that memorial plaque is displayed here. And with the help of Mayor Kim Carr, she's arranged for us to do the same thing for FIG. So before you leave, if you'd like to sign the piece of art that'll hang probably in the Surfing Museum at some point to remember FIG, that would be appreciated. So, dear friend of mine and someone who I have a great deal of respect for, and as we make the transition from 9/11 to 9/12 and Blessing of the Waves, in my heart, in my eyes, and my body, I believe that ordained members of all the faiths are also part of first responders. They're acting every day on our behalf to help save lives and help people, as do former mayors, me excluded. They've given on average 8 years of their lives to make this community a much safer, happier place to live. So I take my hat off to my colleagues who are with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a Blessing of the Waves welcome to Rabbi Steve Einstein, founding Rabbi Emeritus of Congregation of Sasek.
So good to be back. The psalmist proclaimed, "How good and how pleasant it is when we can sit together in unity." It is indeed a great joy for the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council to resume after last year's COVID-related hiatus our much-loved and appreciated Blessing of the Waves program. This year's event is taking place on a very significant weekend, as we know, the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I know that we've all been giving a great deal of thought to that momentous event, how it affected us personally, how many of our family members and friends were touched by that excruciating experience, and how our nation responded. I've been particularly reflecting on the sense of interconnectedness that pervaded our nation that September. We've come a long way since then, and the United States has changed in many ways, some positive, and tragically, some very negative. So, here is my prayer for today's event. Water is the key to life. On this, we can agree. Making certain that clean water is available for all to ensure their good health is a goal without controversy. Having this ocean, this beautiful ocean, literally in our backyard is a blessing that every one of us can enjoy. May our gathering this day help us to focus on what unites us and bring us closer to one another, enabling us to recognize the inherent dignity of each human being. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi, as usual. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great deal of pleasure and honor to introduce the current mayor of the city of Huntington Beach, truly a shining star today, as she will be in the future, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mayor Kim Carr.
Thank you so much and good morning. And before we get started, I am so thrilled that this event is happening. I was so disappointed last year that we could not do this, but this is by far one of my most favorite events in Huntington Beach because this is the real Huntington Beach. These are the locals, these are your friends, your neighbors, and this is what this community is truly about. It's coming together, it's supporting one another. And so thank you so much to the Interfaith Council for continuing to put this event together, and thank you so much, Shirley Detloff, for coming up with the idea to do this. So it truly is a blessing to be here. So as we've mentioned many times today, we're talking about water and how it truly unites us all. So some fun facts about water. 71% of the earth is water. Our bodies are made up 60% water. There's approximately 400 billion gallons of water that are used each day in the United States. And there's an average, most people use 50 gallons a day personally. And so people who love chocolate like me, here's a little fun fact, it takes 3,000 gallons of water to make 1 pound of chocolate. And then if you're going to be watching some football later today, it takes 20 gallons of water to make 1 pint of beer. But recently I read a quote that really resonated with me, and it says, "The ocean stirs the heart, inspires the imagination, and it brings eternal joy to the soul." And isn't that so true? Here we are today joined by one thing that connects us all, and that is water. And looking out at the great Pacific Ocean, it just brings a smile to your heart, doesn't it? We are so lucky to live here in Huntington Beach. We, on the City Council and this community, we have an inclusive community where we lift each other up and we come together and make sure that everybody is doing okay. We love to spread the message of love and unity to one another. And the ocean, our surf city, is the perfect backdrop to demonstrate how we are all connected. We are so lucky to live here in Huntington Beach. We all come from different faiths, backgrounds, but today we are one HB, a community that shares a passion for life and a deep connection to our most valuable resource. I'd like to thank the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council for their dedication and putting on this beautiful event today, as you have for the last 13 years. Thank you so much. And lastly, I'd like to say that God's love is like an ocean. You can see its beginning, but not its end. So, in closing, what I would like for all of our faith-based leaders, all of our community leaders, all of our elected leaders, to use this time and really use your voice to bring the community together. We have seen so much division over the past 2 years. And even yesterday, when we had a most beautiful tribute to 9/11, there were some hecklers who came here to try to divide us. So please, use your voice. Bring the community together. As I said, this is the real Huntington Beach. Take this opportunity and don't make this performative. Put this into action and really be that leader. Be the community leader and be the healer that our community so desperately wants. So thank you, everybody. God bless you. God bless Huntington Beach. God bless America.
So, and some of us have more water than others. Just pointing it out that statistics don't always work. Another dear friend of mine who, I've been here 52 years. I think this gentleman has been here maybe 80 or 90. But I'd like to introduce Bob the Greek Bolin, patent holder in surfing technology, builder and designer of the Turbo Tunnel. Bob?
He took my line. Hey now, brothers and sisters, it's such a pleasure to be here and be able to speak at this wonderful event. And it's just a neat town. I came here in about 1956, 57, right around there. And those waves of water attracted me. You remember the little blue mats with the yellow ends that they used to rent over here in the downtown, in the little shops on the beach here? Well, that's when I started. In 1958, I started surfing here. I got a surfboard. My cousin Jimmy got a surfboard for me, and I had never heard of surfing, never knew much about it. But I took off on my very first wave. Wasn't here, unfortunately. It was down at Doheny. And I fell right in love with surfing. I fell off on my first wave, and then I progressed to here. And I surfed the north side of this pier with a lot of guys like Gordy, Chuck Lennon, Lima Kalama, just to name a few guys that were here at the time. And this city is such a wonderful place to be, and I fell right in love with Huntington Beach. I had a surf shop right across the street. The building now is part of Jack Surfboards, but I had a surf shop there from 1960 to 1980. And I've seen a lot of changes here. There's been a lot of buildings changed. The Jack's building used to be a pharmacy, used to be a Rexall drugstore, remember? There used to be the old Talbert building over here. The Golden Bear was over here. There used to be a car dealership over here. There was banks around here, the National Bank. There's been a lot of changes in this town, but the one thing that hasn't really changed at all are those wonderful waves that you're looking at. And those waves are phenomenal. We are so blessed, like Mayor Carr said, that to be here in this town, to live here in this wonderful city, because it is such a great place to be. There's been a lot of people come and go, Chuck Dent surfboards and Plastic Fantastic surfboards. Greek surfboards are still alive up on Main Street. And in closing, what I'd like to say is, this is a wonderful event. And do you all know what the #1 rule in surfing is? No, not quite. You can't make the peak without a Greek. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Manic? Yeah, would you join them? So this is just a moment to recognize that water is part of our lives, part of our economy, part of our past, part of our future. So, great moment. These young men and women behind me, the Huntington Beach Marine Safety Division, now part of the fire department, and the Junior Guard program. is world famous. Trips to Australia and around the world, and the leadership that's helped develop this Marine Safety Division into what it is today probably spans 50, 60 years of human strife. So I'd like to bring up our Fire Department Marine Safety Division PIO officer, Miss Dieterman, and the Junior Guard of the Year, Miss Roxy Belshi, and accompanied by Mike Ike, an icon in our community. Wow.
Aloha. It is an honor to be here. Ms. Dieterman and I have known this young lady, actually, I have known this young lady since the day she was born. And it's a pleasure that I get to be up here with the, Ms. Dieterman was her last instructor coming through this last year. And you need to understand a little bit of a history about this young lady, but not just her, but her family. Back in the 40s, her grandmother, great-grandmother, a lady by the name of Johnny Belshi was married to the police chief, or a police officer at that time, who was in charge of patrolling the beach area out here in the front. And she, on Saturdays and Sundays, would come down here with him, and they would walk down the beach, and if he did see a rescue, and he was one of the few people at that time that could swim well, he would take his gun belt off and hand it to his wife, and he would run out, make the rescue, come back, and she'd put it back on. If they saw a lost child, she was one of the first ones who discovered that where would the lost child's parents, or where would the lost child walk from? And if you don't understand that, is children do not like the sun in their eyes. And so if it was early morning and the sun was over here in the east, the child would walk to the west. And so they would know automatically to start looking for it. Because this is before we had all the PA systems. This is before we had all the units. These were people that just, the guards that we had down here, the few that they had, just walked it. Johnny went on to run an aquatics program down here. She had brought in a young man by the name of Raymond Bray, who actually started the Junior Guard program. Raymond Bray is a classic icon of this community. There's no question about it. He also came in with another young man by your grandfather, a guy by the name of Buddy Belshi, who down here worked part-time as a lifeguard, then moved over to Newport Beach, and eventually became the captain of the Newport Beach Lifeguard Department. His son, Dana Belshi, became one of my junior guards way back when. And then finally, Roxy comes along with the rest of their family. Finally. Now, she will deny this. She keeps saying it's her sister, but I'm going to tell you a story about this young lady. When she was a C for the first time, now C's are 9, 10, 11-year-olds. First in there, and we do this thing called peer orientation. And peer orientation we do out here to make sure that the kids, when they get behind a piling, they know how to use the piling to their advantage. You know, one side we get behind it, or the wave blocks the wave, the piling blocks the wave, and that makes it safer for the person. So we teach them where to be in that area. Her first time doing this, and she's looking, and she looked over at me, and I could just see this expression on her face, and she was petrified. And she's going, and I said, come on. And she swam over to me, and she jumped on my shoulders, and I walked her out through it, and we brought her back in and let her go. Like that, and I talked to her father, and I go, hey, it's okay, man, she'll be all right. The next year, I look over, and I'm going, where's Roxy? Where's Roxy? And I see this young lady walk out there and look at the other C's and go, come on, guys, we got this. And she's taking them into the water. From that point on, she went on to be a member of our New Zealand exchange team as one of our paddlers. And in this last year, she became one of our captains. Our captain's corps is our elite group. These are the ones who inspire to become lifeguards in the future. Our captains have gone on to be lifeguards up and down this coast, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand. They are all over the world. Our captains have gone on to become Navy SEALs, Marine Rangers. It's phenomenal what these young men and women will do. So at this point, to take this to the last second, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Dieterman, who's going to talk just a little bit about her and her last year here as a captain.
Good morning.
Thanks.
Say aloha back. Aloha back.
And the birds.
Just briefly, Roxy Belshi was the captain of the year, hence the junior lifeguard of the year, because of many things. I think one of the most outstanding of those items probably was we went to a regional competition where we are representing Huntington Beach up and down the coast for all the beaches, and we're competing, and Roxy Belshi decides she's going to do every single event that she can do. She was back to back. She had a smile on her face when she finished. That was more than anything else, just because she pushed herself physically, right? And she went out mentally, and she just did it. And she had a good attitude about it. She inspired others, all ages, and even day to day, she would inspire others, even in the junior guard captains group. So, Roxy Belshi, you're well deserving of this.
And we have a special award for Roxy.
There you go.
Oops! I know a good attorney. While they're doing this, how many people have bought a t-shirt so far? Good. So the rest of you, you know where they are. Don't forget to sign Fig's placard here. And when that ceremony is going to take place at Tower Zero, we'll send the information out so you can join us. So with all that honor bestowed on this young lady, we want to ask Mike Ike to remain there. This is a total surprise, and he's larger than I am, so I got to be careful. But this young man has spent 50 years of his life doing what he does and what he does best, and that's helping others and saving lives. So on behalf of the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council and especially the City of Huntington Beach, thank you, Ike, for everything that you've done. Come on, 50 years. Come on, hey.
You know, I don't know what to say. I want to just say thank you, and the fact that, you know, I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have a job that I truly love, and I know that Claude and Greg and all the other lifeguards that are here, it's a job that you hate to get rid of and hate to leave. But after 50 years, it was time to retire and move on, so I've changed my uniform, and but I will still be around and being the best to everybody. So.
Yeah, Mike, is it true? Mike, is it true that you were only 2 when you started, right? Yeah.
Actually, Ray Bray was my coach in high school. He walked in one day and said, "You're going to be in junior guards." I said, "What is that?" And that was 52 years ago. I did 2 years as a junior guard and the next 50 as a lifeguard down here. So it has been just, I can't believe how fast it went, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We had a gentleman who had recently come to Huntington Beach from the Inland Empire, and he took over a church in Huntington Beach as its pastor. And he was so good here that the Laugh Stop booked him for Tuesday mornings to help their sales. So a dear friend of mine, Reverend James Pike, pastor of Lutheran Church of the Resurrection. Please give him a blessing on the waves welcome. And thank you for dressing. Thank you for dressing appropriately.
You're welcome, Dave. The Lutherans! Let's hear it, my Lutherans. They're here today. If you don't know who the Lutherans are, we're like the Long Beach Airport. We're not your first choice, but we're there when you need us.
And wherever there's 3 Lutherans, there's bound to be a 5th.
So as you've heard today, a little bit of the theme has been sort of the timelessness of the water, the timelessness of the ocean, but also the changing of people and the changing of faces and the remembering of those who came before us. And so as you've seen with the plaques that were put up, we have Father Christian, and we have Pastor Sumo. And yet, even though their voices have been silenced, their memory lives. And we're so grateful to have Father Reynolds from St. Simon and Jude as the next generation from that wonderful parish. And also Pastor Nate from H2O, where Sumo was the pastor, and that's such a cool church in the city that deserves our support. And I think if you've paid attention to the beach down here this year, you'll know the surfing community's lost a lot of key people. And there's been a lot of paddle outs and a lot of grief. And of course, at the end of this year, there was one voice that was silenced that we don't think will be replaced. But from a previous event, we do have a memory of that voice.
We are all so lucky right here in Huntington Beach to have the beach and ocean right here. You gotta love it. And I know that's why a lot of people have moved down here to Huntington Beach. The ocean, we gotta remember this, is our treasure. Let's keep our ocean blue and our beaches clean, and we must all work together to do our part to do this. One last thing, God bless our waves, and P.S. Lord, up there, we could use a swell. Thank you, the Fixter loves you all, and hey, God is good.
So I was down at Rocking Pig's shop last winter, and he said to me, he's like, dude, when are we going to do Blessing of the Waves? We've got to do Blessing of the Waves. And we go, oh, you know, COVID and this and the city. And he goes, forget that. We don't need them. Let's just do it ourselves. We'll do our own Blessing of the Waves. And so kind of the thing I want to leave you with is the possibility that we shouldn't wait for other people to be a source of blessing. Like Fig was ready to put that together, to go out, give thanks for what the ocean is and how it brings us together. And so remember, like the mayor said, you can be that agent of change and that agent of blessing. And even if there's not going to be an official group, you go out and start that work. Now, we're very blessed today that Fig's daughter, Chanel, is here, so we just want to recognize her and thank her for being with us. And just to give a little plug, September 22nd, she'll be the celebrity bartender at Killarney's for Wave House Wednesday. The Ramsey brothers will be there. So check it out and come support the headquarters and our downtown. We give thanks for those who have come before us. Let's carry on the work into the future.
Gives me great pleasure to introduce a friend and a mentor and someone I consider a role model in our reflections portion of today, and that's Penny Nichols from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Aloha. Since the beginning of time, water has taught us a multitude of symbolic lessons. Today, I will share a priceless one that I learned in my early youth. My sweet parents would often load me and my 5 siblings and take us in our wood-paneled station wagon to our local beach, Cabrillo Beach. We spent countless hours picnicking, playing, feeding the wildlife, and skipping stones across the water. Although I was never good at it, I carefully watched those who were masterful stone skippers and noticed the consequential wake that followed each time the stone collided with water. The size of the wake varied as each stone was different, but no matter the stone size, there was a reaction each time a stone encountered the water. Not one stone sank to the bottom without leaving a wake. Unfortunately, I did not grow up in Huntington Beach. We did raise our family here. But this water connected me to you. I grew up 45 minutes north of here on this coastline, wedged between a refinery, a freeway, the shipping port, and the housing projects you would find my little tiny Tudor-style yellow home. It was a very small space, but it was also a very sacred space, bursting with a love that extended well beyond the 4 walls. My parents exemplified a love for all. When they saw a need, they acted. Each afternoon, you would find a large group of unattended after-school children crowded around our dining room table to receive help with homework and after-school snacks. My mother prepared enormous amounts of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches cut into triangles and homemade popcorn to ease their hunger and help their parents before they returned home from work. When my dad was around and home from work, he jumped to help any youth who came to him with a broken anything, you name it. He would pause to fix it. Children felt loved, and their working parents felt the burdens lifted. The intentional efforts of my parents taught me to see well beyond my own desires and serve those in need. Like a stone tossed upon the water, their genuine love was magnified, and its wake rippled outward and was felt by very many people. In contrast, I have witnessed the sorrows that follow when we choose to hurt one another. Those deeds have lasting wakes as well. They create widespread and long-lasting pain, often enduring far beyond what our natural eyes can see. So, what did I learn around that community beach when I was a child? Most certainly it was this: what we do and say matters. We ought not go through life pretending that our deeds do not impact those around us. No deed sinks without leaving behind a positive or a negative wake. In closing, I leave a message of encouragement. Let us be among those who seek after opportunities to lift those in our circles. Let us be kind, patient, tolerant, and encouraging. Let us forgive and grant mercy freely. And let us always err on the side of love and compassion. As we do these things, our lives will be filled with joy, and our homes, community, and our world will be endowed with a spirit of increased peace and harmony. The wake we leave will bless others, and our legacy will be one of positivity. It is my prayer that we will always see the opportunities to lift and love. In the name of Him who I worship in my faith tradition and who has taught me to love one another, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Penny. Our next reflection is from a gentleman that I've come to know very well, just attended his wedding. I was the ring boy. And Pastor Anthony Bogger came to Huntington Beach as the pastor of Surf City Methodist Church, and his work was so appreciated that his bishop raised him to the level of being responsible for all the development of all the Methodist churches in California, Hawaii, and Guam. So obviously when you meet him and hear him, you'll understand why. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Anthony Bogger.
I am so glad to be home. You know, in 40 years of my aloha! You can tell I've been visiting Hawaii a lot, huh? In 40 years of ministry, I have lived along the beach from San Diego all the way to Marina del Rey and spent 25 years here in the Huntington Beach area. And I want you to know that there's no place like this place, anywhere near this place, so this must be the place. You know, that's a good place to give a hand. Hallelujah, that's right. I'm going to baptize you yet. I wanted, you know, I was sitting there and I have notes, and whatever Penny said I agree with, but it stated that it was a time of reflection. And I remember the last time that I was sitting where you are and I was looking out at the ocean, it really wasn't a good time for me. Because back in 2016, September 2016, I was given the news that my son was in a car accident and he was killed on the streets of Huntington Beach. And as our tradition was, we would come down to Huntington Beach and we'd walk the pier and we'd spend time together. And it was just a wonderful time of sharing. And so while he was struggling for his life, I came to the beach and I sat where you are and I looked on the ocean, and there were people who were riding their bikes, playing volleyball, preparing to surf, and nobody knew the pain that I was in. And I remember just simply bowing my head and praying and asking God to bring me some level of peace in the midst of this tragedy. And as soon as I opened my eyes, there was a stranger that was in front of me. And he said, I was moved to remind you and to let you know that what you're praying for is on the way. Your peace is on the way. And I was so grateful as I fell into his arms and I was able to shed my tears here at Huntington Beach. And as I began to walk away, I turned around after taking no more than 5 steps and I looked behind me and he was gone, not to be seen again. And I want you to know that there's no way that you can tell me that I did not experience an angelic visitation here at the Huntington Beach Pier. And I believe with all my heart that there are angels that dwell among us and with us. So my brothers and sisters, even though we live in a crazy world and a crazy time, we have a responsibility to one another. We have a responsibility to love one another. I think it is my Lord who said, I was hungry, did you feed me? I was naked, did you clothe me? I was sick, did you come see about me? As you've done it unto the least of these, my brethren, you've done it unto me. I just pray today that we be better by doing better. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. I've known Anthony long enough and well enough to share this, but in a very short period of time, with his son's death, he also lost his mother and his brother. So it was a tough time. So a newcomer to our world, Jessica Ripley. She's with Groundswell Surf Therapy, and I would suggest that after her reflection, if later this morning you want to ask her for her card, she does a very unusual therapy, spiritual therapy with water that you might be interested in. So ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Ripley.
Aloha, thank you for having me. I was really stoked that I get to be a part of an event celebrating two of my favorite topics, meditation and spirituality. As a mental health therapist and as someone who has faced my own mental health challenges, I've found that a connection to God or to some form of spirituality and a connection to nature, the ocean especially for me, are essential sources of healing and strength that are so important to the healing journey. And I want everyone here to be able to connect to those two things whenever you need them. So I'm going to be teaching you a guided meditation that you can do whenever you want to connect to those things. It incorporates the healing power of the ocean as a symbol of the healing that comes from receiving love from a higher power. Don't worry if you don't know how to meditate. You're just going to be breathing and using your imagination. During the meditation, I'm going to be using the term higher power. That's my attempt to find a universal term that everyone can relate to. So when you hear me saying higher power, please just refer to your own personal beliefs. So start by making yourself as comfortable as you can be in this kind of a setting. Put away any distractions. And if you want to practice the visualization, you can go ahead and close your eyes, or if you like, you can stare out at the ocean. Start to notice your breathing and take slow, deep breaths with a long exhale. As you feel your body start to relax, picture in your mind's eye a beautiful beach where you can see the waves crashing. And these waves on your beach are actually carrying the love from your higher power right to you. So see a big wave rolling in, peaking up, and as it crashes, it sends love from your higher power flying towards you. You take a deep inhale and feel it soak into your heart. And as you exhale, you feel it spread and radiate throughout your body, throughout every cell. And every wave you see rolling in on this beach is carrying more and more love right to your heart. And as your heart fills with love, you also begin to feel that sense of safety that leads to trust. With this trust, you become willing to let go of something that you've been trying to control or change. You become willing to entrust it to your higher power. So on your next exhale, you surrender, release your efforts to control this thing. Feel your body relax as you let go, and feel the pain and frustration that comes from trying to control something you cannot leave your body. See it travel out to the waves and see the next wave crash right on top of it. Break it all up until it disappears. We'll close with one final breath together. See a big wave of love rolling in, Inhale, soak it into your heart. Exhale, letting go, releasing, and relaxing into love and trust. And when you're ready, you can come back to the here and now and enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you for meditating with me.
Thank you. Okay, everybody wake up now. I've been ignoring these guys. I just want to hear aloha from here. Here. Peanut gallery. Okay, all together. Okay, so we are blessed with a gentleman who has a great record. Jamal, if you would be with Mamadou just for a moment. So, here's a very human story. A friend of mine, John Etheridge, is in the audience someplace. John kills bugs for a living. He's a bug killer, you know. So, Jamal retired from the NBA and decided to raise his family in Huntington Beach recently. And he had little mice. So he called John, and he shared with John that he and his wife had started a new business. And John said, hey, you should talk to Dave. He'll help you start your new business, which is a great business. But in my developing a relationship with Jamal and his wife, I asked him for some help at a golf tournament and this event, and then he introduced me to Mamadou. So Jamal is a mere 6'7". Mamadou is an awesome 7'6". So, so Jamal, thank you. I appreciate it. And he and his wife are great new members of our community, and I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of them. Thank you. Mamadou? Mamadou has a life story. Mamadou has a life story that'll rock your boat. Ladies and gentlemen, Mamadou.
Aloha. I guess I have to say that. Thank you. My guy. Yep. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here, this organization. And then, I mean, my story life is going to be a long, but I have to keep it short. I'm from Africa. I moved to Huntington Beach, I can say 14 years ago. And then moved to this family down the street. And my family was unbelievable family. Basically, live with Jewish people, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, we're all living as the same household. And it was beautiful. One thing, we don't have any problem, any other religion. And what's good about it, we all respect one another. And we respect other people, what they believe, everything they do, and we can live together without no problem. And today I'm just want to thank my family a lot. And grow up here in Huntington Beach. I always come down there, play volleyball with my friend. And that's how I become the community of Huntington Beach. And then we talk about the ocean. The ocean, like water, bring people together. And then we all need water. Doesn't matter who you are and what race you are. White, black, Muslim, Catholic, Christian, we all need water. That means we all same. Doesn't matter what you believe, Republican, any party you are, Republican, doesn't matter, we all same. But I understand we have a different identical and then believe it. But at the end of the day, we all the same people. All that means, let's work together and unite in who we are. And be together and work together and believe in and respect one another. That's what we need to do. And then I'm thanking these guys out there, Dr. Dumont. We have a long story. Please give him a hand. Yeah, Dr. Dumont, by the way, I can say like story. He worked with my mom. Since I got here, him and my mom, I have a brain surgery. and this guy is helping me a lot. And then my first surgery, he take care of me. His name Dr. Reverend. Thank you.
Wow.
And then also, we talk about water, and I bring a couple of my friends. He work at this company called EVFY. And then they're starting this new company and about to help with the city like Huntington Beach or other city on the United States. And then if you need like anything to help like environment, like water, healthy, all those kind of stuff, you can research them called EVFY. It's a new company, it's like an electronic car just to help with the water and the natural environment to just live healthy life. And also, I just want to say thank you to this organization having me. Thank you so much. Hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you, Mama.
I want to leave you with this image. This. I don't know what to say. You know, this spans a lifetime of energy and history. If it wasn't totally clear, so Mamadou came here from another country of Muslim faith. When he arrived in Huntington Beach, he was adopted by a Huntington Beach couple. The mother was a nurse. She felt there was a medical condition. She took him to Hoag, and it was solved. It was a tumor growing against the pituitary gland. So, and he went to Christian schools all his life in Huntington Beach. So we really are blessed to have him as almost a native. Thank you.
The 20th anniversary of 9/11, that we wanted to have a moment where we could have a song and a prayer for our country. And I was at Ground Zero just a few months after 9/11, and we were working with some of the aid workers that were recovering bodies and cleaning up debris. And they said there were really two 9/11s. There was the 9/11 that happened on TV that most of us watched, and then there was the 9/11 that happened in New York. Let the wave pass. And she said, if you watched it on TV, you were angry, but your anger couldn't go anywhere. And she said, for us here at Ground Zero, our anger has burned through to compassion. And so I think that can become a prayer for us, that our anger and the feelings we have can burn through to a place of compassion and a receiving and belonging to one another. And so to make that our prayer, I'd invite you to stand if you're able, and we'll join in God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
So we have a couple of special moments. First, I'm going to introduce and ask the brand new pastor of St. Simon and Jew, Father Reynolds, to come up and do a benediction.
Aloha, y'all. We're glad y'all are here. And Deacon, where are you? Come on over, man. I need the water. Deacon, come on, hurry, hurry, hurry. Because I am a lean, mean, blessed machine. It might not be apparent, but I am. Here we go.
So here we go. We're going to go ahead and bless the water here. Lord, you give us water to sanctify and to give life and to heal and to cleanse and to just to remind us of your goodness to us, of your blessing. So as we use this water now, might be reminded of all the goodness that you bestow upon us. And we ask this in your most holy name. Amen. Amen. All right, we'll come ahead and we'll go ahead and get you a little wet now. How about? It's actually seawater, so that's all kind of healthy and good. So here we go.
Be safe when you paddle out. There's lifeguards on duty. We're still kind of on duty, or at least I am. So we'll be there to help if you need anything. But follow out this gentleman in the blue. Rocky will show you the way, and please enjoy the surf. Thank you very much.
Continue the service right at the shoreline. I don't know that there's anyone who knows more about the blessing of the waves than people who ride the waves. In preparation for today, I was thinking about 3 relationships that I'm always mindful anytime I have the opportunity to surf. The first is just my relationship with nature. If you've ever been out in the surf and you see a dolphin paddle by, you're just like, you realize we're a part of something so much bigger. The second relationship is who you surf with. I mean, you see the crowd of people out there, friendships develop, and I think the more that we can have this openness of not just wanting every wave for ourselves, but also cheering when we see someone else on a wave, that's part of what it is to really be a part of the community. And then finally, we talk about our connection to the divine, that there's a creator that made all of this, that had an idea that waves would roll in and those waves would be a blessing for us. I'm so grateful for that. So for those 3 relationships, we give thanks. I believe that gratitude is really the hallmark of spirituality, that it's about learning to be grateful for all that we've been given and the blessing of our lives.